Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Okay, we are live now, so this is the first try, so we're gonna see how it's gonna work out today. The pep talk today is going to be about goals, so I'm gonna give you an overview. And before doing that, I need to give you an introduction. Why do you need goals and why they are important? Because a lot of times people are not taking goals seriously. Even though we speak about them and I talk about them a lot, but in a lot of times people don't really pay attention to what I say or to the goals in general. Why do I need a goal? A goal gives me direction. A goal is when you start driving, if you arrive to a city on the first day, before going anywhere. A goal is the map that you are going to follow from where you are now to where you want to get. A lot of people think that they don't need goals. But how many times did you go to make a shopping and came home and said, I forgot? Even though for the whole week you said, I need this, I need this, I need this. And then you go shopping and you come home without what you have been saying that you will get for the whole week. Because nobody takes shopping as a goal. If we don't do it for a day to day, what do you think of our lives? Anything that we do in our life, a goal, that we go and apply that goal. There are certain rules. The successful people. And today we'll start with the first thing here. If you don't know what goal you want to achieve, if you don't know, if you wake up in the morning and you don't know how your day is going to pan out, what am I going to do today? Going to the university to study is not enough. Going to work, the brain, every morning when you wake up, it looks at the world like this. It's an ocean. And if you put a ship in the sea without the mat before, where do you think the ship will go? Anywhere. What's gonna play with it? Water. The ship doesn't have a substance, even though it's heavy. But if it's not driven, the ship will drift, will go anywhere. You agree or not?
Yeah.
But if you have a goal, if you have a map, a little kid, if you tell them, follow this goal, go there, the little kid will hold the map and the big ship will move in that direction. The difference, someone has got a purpose and the other one doesn't have a purpose. A goal is a purpose. A goal is a purpose. For example, if I say I want to find work, find a job, that is my goal. What's my purpose? Finding a job. If I want to buy a car, and you get the idea. There is a term that we use, and anyone, honestly, anyone that doesn't start their day with a goal, day. Anyone, if you come in the morning, you wake up, and you don't have an action plan that you're gonna follow, you have missed the day. Have you noticed how when you wake up in the morning and you have things in mind that you do, you start acting like you have your breakfast and you know the time and you have to go and you always are on a mission. But if you get up in the morning and you don't have anything particular to do, what is going to happen is you don't have anything in particular. You wake up, if you have the breakfast at 9 o'clock or at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, it doesn't matter. But if you have a purpose and you need to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, you make sure you have your breakfast at 8 and you leave home at 8:15. You get to the station 8:30 and it takes you 20 minutes. You see how the goal is? Now, I'd like you to write the term great. The term great. The word great, write great. Sometimes when you don't know how your day is going to go, use this term here, great. The first thing is gather. The G for gather. And what do? Is you gather the information about what it is you want to do. throughout the day or your life as a whole. What that also means is that once you said you don't know what you're gonna do, right? Gather information. How do I want to spend my day today? What it is that if I did will add value to my day. Some people, or a lot of people, what they do throughout the day is they put things into the day so that the day has got a significance, but it's not what they want to do. When they have nothing, they say, you know what, I'm killing time, so let me watch a movie. Is the movie a goal or something that feels dead time? It's something that feels dead time. A lot of people feel a lot of dead time throughout the day, and they think they are busy. They are not busy. They are filling their time with rubbish. Some people sit in a cafe and drink coffee for the whole 3 hours. Subhanallah. Like you can sit in a cafe for 3 hours, have a coffee for 3 hours. Okay, so that is gather. You need to gather every information, every goal, write anything that is doable on that day. Once you've written, what is the table? Okay, if you write, try not, yes, thank you, please. Once you have gathered the data, put it down on a paper. If you don't write your goal, you are joking. If you are not writing your goal, you really are joking. So you have then, once you write down the list, you have to review the list, what it is that is going to do. There is no point in writing what you need to do and you don't review it. The mind is very clever. You know what the mind likes doing? Nothing. The brain loves laziness like you love honey. Given the opportunity, the brain is happy doing nothing. That's why sometimes you are sitting on a chair or sitting doing nothing, and it is like a heavy mountain on your neck to go and do 2 rakat salat, or to go outside, or to do something. Because the brain is by default lazy. By default, the brain is lazy, and you need to force the brain to work. That is the default setting. This is why once you write your goal, you must review it. You must read it. Once you, and that is for the R, the review. R is for review. And then for the E, you have to evaluate that goal, what it requires from you, how much time do you need, how much money do you need, how many manpower do you need, how many this and that. For example, if you're going to go skiing, you evaluate that activity, what I need for it. And also you evaluate the goal against your set of values, your personal values. For instance, you want to go run, it's good. But you want to run and wear shorts that is mid-thigh. Mid-thigh for us Muslims, it's against our values. To the knees, it's our values. But up mid-thigh is not our value. So you want to go with your values. And let me tell you something about your values, which for us as Muslims is the halal and the haram. These are our values. When something is halal, I do it. When something is not halal, I don't do it. This is my value. No compromise in it. So any act that we want to do, we always want to evaluate it through these 2 settings, the halal and the haram, and also evaluate what you got and we don't have. Once you have gathered what you need, reviewed and written down, and understand the why you want to do what you want to do, and once you have evaluated against yourself of limiting or your own beliefs or what you got, now comes the time for the A, and that is actions. So the G is for gathering, the R is for reviewing, i.e. writing down and all that stuff, the E is for evaluating, and the A comes action. And let me tell you something. Any claim that you make verbally, if there is no action to support it, is an empty word. Anything that you vocally say or verbally utter, and if you do not put any action behind it, is an empty word. And this is why when you give your word and you say, I promise, you've said something with your mouth. If you don't put any action behind it, you are a liar, or you broke your promise, and it's not something nice. And on top of that now comes the T. Any goal that doesn't have a time is not a goal. Any goal that doesn't have time is not a goal. The goal must have a time. It has the beginning. If you have to have two parentheses, the first parenthesis is the beginning of the goal, and the closing parenthesis is the end of the goal. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a time, you will never get to do what you want. This is why sometimes you spend a whole week and you don't even say, you go, what have I done? Where did the whole week go? Right? It's because those little things you didn't give them time, and you do a job here and you do it there and you do it. There is no value. There is no value. So always, before, once you're gonna start designing your goal, you go, okay, I wanna apply the theory of the grid. I gather information about how I want my day to go. I will write down and review what it is and understand why I decided to do what I want to do. And then I evaluate what I got, both manpower, what I got, and also against my own beliefs. And then comes the A for action and the T for time. And always, when Allah created, He wrote down, and He doesn't need to write down. So any human that doesn't write is really crazy. It's really crazy. Now that we have spoken about all this, I want now to go and speak about the goals when you got them. For example, I want to buy a car, or I want to study, I want to listen to this pep talk. Believe it or not, I listen to my pep talks on goals. I plan my pep talk, I record my pep talk, I write it down, I allocate the time. I usually do them from 10 to 12. That's my time. So I take that and I do this and do this, but 12 is finished. My pep talk, I got finished, and then I know exactly what comes next to it. And then after I finish that, I know exactly what comes after this, after that, after that, after that. I don't have something called, I don't know what's coming up next. If you ask me now, after I finish up this talk, what's going to happen, I will tell you that I've got 3 things I need to do tonight. When you set a goal, you create clarity in your mind. Please write this down. It's very important. When you set a goal, you create clarity in your mind. Because if you don't do that, then there's no clarity and there is nothing much, and your time will just go and disappear, and you don't even know what's going on with your time. So let's go. Goals must be written down. And I will tell you why it's important to write a goal. When you don't write a goal, it's an energy in your mind. It doesn't have a physical appearance. It doesn't exist. Down, it becomes something real. You've written it down. For example, if I want to buy a jug of coffee, if I keep it in my mind, it doesn't exist, and that's why you forget it. But if I put it on a piece of paper, I can read it. It already exists. It's written. And once it's written, the brain will interact with it differently. The brain will look at it completely different. If, for example, if you want to park your car and there is something written, do not park, that writing is an action, even though it's written. But notice that? If you are driving on the highway and they say speed limit 30 miles, it's written, right? But have you seen how you translate it into action, right? But if someone tells you that zone that is 30 miles, you're not going to pay attention because it's not real, it's not tangible. This is why before you go to sleep every night, you must set tomorrow, I pray Fajr 5 o'clock, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do that. Why do I write my goals? You know why? Because anything, everything in this time here fights for your attention. Anything is here to distract you. How your phone rings, the internet, the email wants you to buy something, this comes here, this wants you to play that game, this wants you, haven't you noticed, like, we bombarded from all angles, everyone wanting to have a piece of your attention. When you write down a goal, you're given what? A purpose, like, I don't get distracted, I see that person there. You ignore everything. You give an anchor to your mind to look at something and it's there. But people who get distracted are people who don't write their goals. This is why I get angry when you are late, is because my goal is written. So when you come late, you're gonna mess up my, whatever is going to come after you. And then it creates, but if I am like last night when you visited, was it last night? The night before, when you came and visit, open, so I was doing my work, and when you come, I'll give you that time. That was my last goal. So I was flexible. Okay. Number 2, the goal must be in the forefront of the mind. Here, your goal must be here. And the reason why you want to put your goal at the forefront, because if you don't put your goal at the forefront, nobody's going to do it on your behalf. And now it's proven, alhamdulillah, in the Quran, that the decision center for the human being is here, in the mind, here. It's here. When you write a goal, you take ownership for it. When you write a goal, you take ownership for it. For example, if I was a king and I wrote you a letter and I go take this and go tell people to obey you, the moment you show them the written piece, they will obey you, right or not? They will obey you more than if you told them obey me. Because once something is written, it has a powerful energy. It has a powerful energy. So the goal must be in the forefront of your mind. Meaning, when you set to do a goal, do not let distractions come to you anyhow. And write this one rule here. This rule says, once you set on a goal, anything external is evil. Once you set on a goal, anything external is evil. Meaning, if you promise to meet somebody at 10 o'clock, if someone says, I give you £1,000 and meet me at 10 o'clock, if you take the £1,000, that's evil. Once you give your word, once you set your goal, never ever let it down for anything. This is why we Muslims, when you have a celebration, you invite a lot of Muslims, they say, yes, I will come, and I will come, and they don't come. And you end up cooking a lot, and not many turn. It's because we are not people of our words. And once you write the word, once you write it, the brain will treat it different. The brain will treat the word as a command. A written goal becomes a command. A written goal becomes a command. An unwritten, a non-written goal becomes a wish. You only wish, and how many wishes come true? So when you write 0, yes, I agree with you. So when you write a goal, it becomes a command, and this is why they say no parking. The brain understands it, don't park. So when you write a goal, it becomes a command, and when you don't write it, it becomes what? A wish, and wish don't come true. Number 3, goals must be reviewed regularly. Don't write a goal and forget it. If, for example, tomorrow Jumu'ah or Saturday, and you have a list of 5 things, don't write them down and then forget altogether about them. Write them down and review them. And once you do the one, tick it. And then you go, okay, I've got this one, and behind it I do the other one. Okay, once you've written the goal, you must review them regularly. If they are weekly goals, you review them daily. If they are daily goals, you must review them hourly. So much so that if I ask it how many things do you have today to do, you must have 4. It say today I've got 4 things to do. If throughout the day I say how are you today, and you say I'm busy, and you can't say how many things are you busy for, these are wishes, and you're not going to accomplish anything on that day, because the brain does not have an anchor to these actions. You get it? You get it, my brother? So that's why you have. Why do you think as-salat is always midday, asr, maghrib, isha? These are anchors for us so that our day doesn't go lost. So you plan your day so that you have time to do your dhuhr. After dhuhr, you plan your day for asr. After asr, you plan your day for maghrib. After maghrib, you plan for day for isha, and then isha, you go to sleep. So everything is done on a daily plan. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is extremely important, goals must be specific. When you go out shopping, don't just go out shopping. You must have a list. I need to buy a pair of shoes, I need to get some veggies, I need to get some meat, I need to go to that store, and the more planned you are, the easier and the more enjoyable your shopping spree will be. Have you ever been in a situation when you go shopping and then you buy a lot and then you are too much and then you forget, I need to go back to that shop up there because I forgot to buy something, right? It's because you have gone to the shopping mall without any plan. But if you have the plan, I need the W.H. Smith, I need the Marks and Spencer, I need Primark, I need meat, I need bread, and then you adjust them. All you gotta do is look at the list. I need this, and you go ting, 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 and you go back home, all done. Well, now someone might say, no, this is too much headache, I just like to wing it. I said, that's why you have lots of headaches and confusion. That's why you have a lot of headaches and confusion. Once the brain is confused, it cannot read properly, it cannot sleep properly, it cannot think properly, it cannot drink properly, it can do nothing properly. And the more you are methodical, like you take methods, this, the more the brain is clear, calm. And here is the catch. The brain is like a little child. If you plan and you follow your plan, the brain trusts you and works with you. If you plan and you don't follow the plan, the brain says he's a liar, and the brain will not listen to you. And this is why a lot of people, they say, no matter how hard I try, I can't get myself planned. Because one day you did a plan and you didn't listen to it, and the brain doesn't believe you anymore. So you have to convince your brain that you are doing something cool. So, and now, so the goals must be specific. You have to specify. Haven't you noticed when you go shopping for ingredients, you buy something and you know exactly what you're gonna buy because you know what you are going to cook, so you buy the ingredients for that dish, right? With me? So this is why the goal must be what? Specific. And once it's specific, do not change it. If you say today I'm gonna do this at 8 and the other one at 9, don't change your mind and say no, let me start with this one at 9 and the other one I do it at 8. It's a very, very bad idea. Number 5, your goal must be framed in a positive way. And this is extremely important. The brain doesn't like taking negative commands. The brain doesn't like to do what? Take negative commands.
Goals must be
framed in the positive. The goal, for example, don't say, my car is dirty, I need cleaning. It needs cleaning, right? This is negative. What do you say? My car needs to look good. My car needs to look good. Don't say, I want to lose weight. It's negative. The brain doesn't like to deal with it. And that's why a lot of people don't lose weight. But what do you want to say? I want to look good. Don't say, I want to stop smoking. Say, I want to be healthy. Don't say, I want to study. Say, I want to become more knowledgeable. The brain loves positivity, right? The brain always loves when you give the thing in positive. If somebody wants to lose weight, a woman says, I'd like to fit in my dress 8 size. That's more better and more proactive, and you will get there. Not like you say, I need to lose 10 pounds, and the brain goes, 10 pounds, you crazy, 10 pounds, that's too much. And then they do this diet this week, and then they break for 2 weeks, and then the next Monday, they start over and over again. For you also. Now, if you say, I'm gonna plan my day, I'm gonna write what I need to do tomorrow, that's negative. The brain will say, I'm going to do how it's too much. This is how I do it. Let me give value to my day. Let me give value to my day. And I start putting this thing. Why now? The tasks become values. If I say, I'm gonna plan my tasks, it's too much negativity. So I say, let me put values into my day. If I want to treat my woman properly, what do I say? I'm gonna treat her nicely. This doesn't register well with the brain, because the brain says, ha ha ha, you're a big deal sucker. Okay? Well, now you're gonna do that. What do you say? I'm going to have good fun with my wife. I'm going to have good time. I'll put it in always the positive. Once you put it in positive, there is no telling how much we can go with this world. The brain will go, look at you. If I say, write a lot, you go, oh my God, write a lot. Okay? If I say, decorate your book with different colors, it's the same thing, right? But which one do you like, write a lot or decorate? Decorate. It's the same thing. It's just if a child, if you tell him go sleep, it's negative. I don't want to go sleep, right? But if you tell him you want to grow all over big, he goes, yes, lie down. You have attached a value to it. If I want you to go with me to Birmingham, I don't say let's go Birmingham. It's all the highway, and I go, hey, do you want to have fun? Let's go and have fun in Birmingham. What I want here, any goal that you make, frame it in the positive mind, in a positive mind. Number 6, a goal, whatever goal that you want to make, you have to capture it in your imagination first. If you can imagine a goal, you can achieve it. Don't just start doing something for something without imagination. The more imagination you can imagine and picture the goal in your mind, the better. For example, let's say you want to go and buy a dress for a wedding tomorrow. So what happens? Where am I going to go? Oxford Street. You get what? You go there and you get tired and you go, I don't want to shop anymore. But if you say, oh, I'm going to go to, yes, I need to go to this Debenhams or this store, and you imagine it. The more you imagine, the more you create a reality, and the brain loves these things. The brain loves these things. How do you get somebody to do something? Is by creating a visual anchors. Like, for example, if I want to say, let's go to Hawaii. Like, nobody on Hawaii, but if I say this, it's beautiful. The mountain, who wants to go to a place where the mountains are high, the waterfalls is absolutely fantastic, and you can see 3 to 4 rainbows at the same time. The water is absolutely warm and look and nice, and we can do scuba diving, and there are some palm trees. Now, who wants to go to Hawaii? Everybody goes, me. But the first time who wants to go to Hawaii, but once I give you the picture, the imagination kicks in, and then I say it's 600 pounds, you go, 600 pounds, no big deal, yes, I'll do it. But if I say, who wants to go to Hawaii for 600 pounds? So always, any goal, even cooking, picture yourself cooking and the dish will be different. If you want to sit down and study, I always put my paper, my pens, and everything first, and I look at them and I can picture myself sitting and taking notes. And then the brain takes ownership to that. The brain loves when you do something that it knows what it's doing. The brain always loves it. When you do something, it knows what you are doing. This is why you must, your goal must be captured in your imagination. If you want to lose weight, the first thing to do is picture yourself with thin. Picture yourself like that. And look at you, imagine yourself wearing like the most beautiful dress that you got, or pants, whatever it is that you like. Put it on in your mind, because once you put it on in your mind, it becomes a reality and the brain has something to work with. In a lot of times, like education of the children or spending good time with the family, people don't have imagination. And if you don't have an imagine, easy man. When you don't have imagination, you do not have a proper life. And I'll tell you this, people without imagination are dark, black and white. They don't have any variety. If you see the world in the black and white, you know how many millions of colors are there? 16 million colors in between. But if you go to the extremes, black and white, you're not gonna go anywhere far. Number 7, goals are measurable. So your goal you can be able to measure your goal. Don't just say, I want to lose weight. Say, I want to lose 10 pounds. And then you rephrase it positively. I want to look thinner. I want to look sizes. So you must measure the goal. Don't just cook for cooking. Say, I'm going to cook for 2. Don't say, I just want to go shopping. Say, I want to buy dang. You have to have a measurable goal. If you want to go on vacation to Hawaii, you need to know, okay, I'm going to go 7 days and I'm going to stay in that hotel and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Any goal that you cannot measure is a goal you cannot imagine. And once you cannot imagine, you cannot word them positive. And once it's not positive and you cannot write it down, then it becomes a wish. A lot of people go throughout the day carrying wishes, and wishes on the mind are heavy. One of the best ways they found is that if you have a problem, write it down. If you write on a journal, your tension comes down and you calm down, and that's why you go and vent out. Well, if you have a problem and you go to talk to your friends, you feel good. Have you noticed that? Because if you don't do it, all that information and energy that the brain keeps in, and it is too much for the brain. The brain doesn't like these things. So here we gotta say this, the goal must be measurable. And you can apply it in anything from this to even intimacy with your partner. Don't just go like this, plan it like 2 hours, and then you'll be able to distribute the time and you'll enjoy it more as opposed to just like that. Also, when you sit eating, believe it or not, I know how much time I spend for my lunch, how much time I sit at the table and eat. It's 20 minutes. I plan it, my eating. So you have to give the goal something to hang on to. The more you give the goal, the brain, something to hang on to, the more the brain will respond to you. Some people, they do something too much every single day and they get burnt out. Why? Because it's not part of them. It hasn't become part of them. If you don't want to burn out, you need to plan it and become part of your day. And your goal must be challenging. Don't cook always the same cook. Don't cook always the same curry and fish. And don't cook always. Once the goal is not challenging, it becomes a habit. If you perform your prayers every single day and you don't taste it, it's because it has become a habit and it's not challenging. Anything that you want to do, why we write with colors? Because they are challenging colors. You don't take one habit, you gotta change and you gotta put the orange and the blue and things like that. You organize the ideas, you organize your thoughts, you organize your whatever it is that you wanna plan for. So the goal must be challenging. If you wanna play with your child, challenge them. If you wanna go shop, don't make it easy. Go and shop with a challenge. If you wanna recite Al-Quran, learn Al-Quran, put a challenge. The brain is lazy and it likes to work a lot. If you don't challenge it enough, it gets what? bored. And this is sometimes when someone cannot concentrate. If your child cannot concentrate, it's because whatever it is you are telling them or teaching them is not challenging enough. If you cannot sit at the table and study because the studies are not challenging you enough. If your life sucks, it's because it's not challenging enough. Anything that you do, there must be a challenge. The brain loves a challenge. It's lazy, but once you get it going, it loves going. And the brain, once it gets rolling, it doesn't like to stop. It doesn't like to stop. Also, the goals must be achievable. You don't want to set a goal that is too high. For example, if someone is overweight and they need suddenly in 1 month, they need to lose 40 pounds or 30 pounds. This is not achievable. So you want to set a goal that is achievable, or you want to cook a nice dish in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or you want to study Quran in 15 minutes. The brain is going to take it for a joke. So you want to always make sure that you take a good portion of achievability. If you want to buy a car that you can achieve. I have 5 pounds and I want to buy a Maserati. That's going to work. Or I have 10 pounds and I want to go eat in a very posh restaurant. So the goal must be achievable. It must be achievable. The time frame. The time frame. This is crucial. Allah gives us 24 hours a day. Allah gives us what? 24 hours a day. Why do you think Allah gives us 24 hours a day? Why didn't He give us like, you've got the number of the, I give you the day until it gets dark. Right? He could have given, if we didn't have the watch, and we don't know what time it is, you wake up, it's daytime, and suddenly it gets dark. How did He gave us the hours, He created the hours and the months, and as He says in the Quran, لِتَعْلَمُوا عَدَدَ السِّنِينَ. And so it's that, you know, the counting of the years. So He gave us those many things so that we can use them to our advantage. The brain doesn't know how to work with time. You know this. You can sit and watch something for 10 hours and not move. The brain doesn't know it spent 10 hours. That's why sometimes you go, oh my God, where the time is gone? What do you expect? Because the brain, this is what the brain does, and this is very important. One time, when the brain enjoys an activity in 1 second, it will keep doing the same activity in 1,000 seconds. To the brain, it doesn't know you spent 10,000 seconds. To the brain, it keeps doing one activity, and then you go, I've lost 10,000 minutes or seconds or whatever. So you really want to make sure that the time frame for your goal, for your day, for your life must have a beginning and end. So now the question that I want to ask you also, or the last one, let me put this one and then we pass on to something else. Your goals must be Islamically and ethical. Meaning you don't do something that is not permissible in Islam, and you don't do something that is not ethical. And hardly ever, if something is Islamic, it's ethical. If something is Islamic, it's ethical. Now I'm going to share with you 3 elements. What time is it now? What time is it now?
8:45.
25?
45, 43.
Okay, 43. Okay. Quickly now, I want to give you now a couple words for your goals. What the goals has to be. Okay, the goal must be smart. So you put S-M-A-R-T. One S-M-A-R-T. For the smart, the goal must be smart. So say the goal must be smart. S-M-A-R-T. The S is for specific. S for specific. The S is for specific. The M is for measurable, something that you measure. So the goal is specific and you must be able to measure it up. The goal is specific and you must be able to measure it up. So S for specific, M for measurable, and A for agreed. You have to agree the goal with your own self. Don't do something against your own will. You have to agree with yourself, because sometimes you want to wake up for Fajr, but you don't agree with yourself. What it creates, you don't wake up. Or sometimes you don't want to do so. So the goal, you have to, the A, so S is for specific, M for measurable, and A for agreed. You have to agree with the goal for yourself. The R, meaning realistic. The goal has to be realistic. As much as I would love to drive a Lamborghini, but I don't have the money for it. It don't matter how much I dream, I'll never drive a Lamborghini unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives me an opportunity to do great business. And the T is time phased, i.e. time controlled. If you can keep this word smart and you learn it and you apply it to every goal you do, you'll be a champion. The M is for measurable, the A is for agreed, the R is realistic, and the T is the time. So this is today a brief, quick, simple, easy, schmeezy introduction to goals setting. If it fails one of these points that I mentioned, you will not succeed. And this is why Muslims will get nowhere, is because we just put the information here and we think, oh, I am very bright, believe me. It equals nothing when you compare it to a pen. If I write something now, I can read it 10 years from now. But if I put something in my memory now, what is the guarantee to remember it tomorrow after tomorrow? Not much. Okay? So this is very simply what we got now. I'll take your questions. For those who are viewing our talk here, if you want to leave, just type it out and it will come on the screen.
Is this live? Is it?
Yes, it is. I do think it is. Any questions about the goals and everything?
So you said, Abu Hanifa, you said something about once you set a goal, anything external is evil.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll give an example. You might say to yourself, okay, I'm going to pray Qiyam al-Layl. You set a goal, I'm going to pray Qiyam al-Layl. But then a thought comes to your head, because you don't want to do Qiyam al-Layl, something makes you not want to do Qiyam al-Layl. So a thought comes to your head, let me read Quran instead.
Evil. Evil.
Because sometimes you want to do something good, but there's another thing which is good. So really, if you look deep in yourself, you know that you don't want to do this. So you just find anything, something else good. So you do it instead of that time.
Anything, whenever, take this rule. Whenever you agree to do something, whatever comes to take you away from that goal is evil. This is why Rasulullah says, إِيَّاكَ وَمَا يُعْتَذَرُ مِنْهُ. Be careful, be cautious that which you apologize because of it. Don't put yourself in a situation where you got to apologize.
إياك
وما يعتذر منه. إياك وما يعتذر منه. البخاري في الأدب المفرد وصحيح. So whenever, for example, if I agree to meet a friend, to meet you, and for example, Victor comes and says, let's go, I've got this beautiful car, let's go to Bournemouth and have a nice dinner there. And with you, I'm going to sit down just to have a cup of coffee. If I change my mind after I've given you a promise and I go with him, that's evil. That's not the deed of man. So whenever you said to do something, you do that something. Don't trade it for anything else. إِيَّاكَ وَمَا يُعْتَذَرُ مِنْهُ. Be cautious, be careful from that which you will apologize because of it. Don't do something you apologize later. So if I tell you meet me at 10, don't come 10, 15 and tell me I apologize. Any other questions? Okay, so I will stop here so that we can stop the recording here. I will see you inshallah next Thursday at 8 p.m. if any questions, do send them to me here on the group, and in that I will answer them. And until next week, inshallah, you stay in the mercy of Allah. And assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.